What is up, guys? It is Apsher Labs here today to show you my Game Boy Advance video game collection. Basically, I'm going to show you all my games so that you can tell me like which ones you would like to see me like do a video on or something, or tell me whether you like a game or not. I just thought it was cool and I like watching these myself, so let's get into it. I'm going to start off. I have just 3 games. Like, I keep my games in these like DS cases with like printed out covers because it looks nicer. So I have 3 here that don't have cases yet. First up here we have Naruto Ninja Council. Sorry you can't really see that, but it's basically a 2D platformer game with Naruto characters. It's alright. Next up here is Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. This one actually kind of isn't mine. It's like I might be getting this one. Basically, it's kind of weird to explain, but yeah, I don't know much about this, but I heard it's a really good like Castlevania game on the Game Boy Advance, so maybe I'll try it out. And then this one's not really a game. This is a Cartoon Network video collection thing. It just has some episodes of Cartoon Network shows. So now we go into the games with like my homemade cases. First off here we have Bomberman Max 2 Red Advance. This one is like a basic like Bomberman gameplay. If you've ever played a Bomberman game, like you go around putting stuff, blow it up. And they kind of did the thing that Pokemon does with this and like made 2 versions of it. There's this one, I think there's a blue version. But yeah, this one you play as this guy, and I don't know what else there's a difference, but I'm assuming just like Pokemon, it's not much. Alright, next up here we have Dragon Ball GT Transformations. This one is a really cool like side-scrolling beat-em-up, and it has the characters from Dragon Ball GT. I've gotten through a few of the different levels in this game, but I haven't finished it or anything, and it's really fun. Like, definitely check it out if you're a fan of Dragon Ball. Next up here we have Dragon Ball Z: The Legacy of Goku. This one is like a kind of like Legend of Zelda type game, like top down, move around the overworld and stuff. But I haven't gotten too much into it. I think I popped it in once to try it out, but definitely interested in that one. I hear a lot of people are kind of divided on that because some people really like those games and then some people really don't because they continued them. There's Legacy of Goku 2, which is, I assume, more of the same. I think that one just covers like the first couple sagas, and then this one's like the next couple sagas, and then this one is Boo's Fury, and it's basically Legacy of Goku 3. So there's that. Next up here we have Dragon Ball Z Supersonic Warriors. This one's the better 2D fighting game on the Game Boy Advance featuring Dragon Ball Z characters, and it's still, I mean, it's not that great, but it is better than Dragon Ball Z Taiketsu, which I really don't like this game, and the general consensus is no one likes this game, and it really is not fun. Like, just the way it's like animated and stuff, it's just kind of a weird game. And the final Dragon Ball Z game I have on here is Dragon Ball Z the Collectible Card Game. Don't know anything about this. I just got it because, you know, I have all the other Dragon Ball games except Dragon Ball Advance Adventures, which I want that game, but it's very expensive. Next up here we have Final Fantasy 1 and 2 Dawn of Souls. I haven't gotten much into the Final Fantasy series, but I definitely would like to check out like the original, even though I know it's not the original, but you know, definitely check out what I've missed. And then I also have Final Fantasy 4 Advance. I heard this is like the best version of Final Fantasy 4 that you can get. If it's between this and the DS, but I have them both actually, so I don't know which one's better. Next here is Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. It's basically a tactical like RPG game, kind of similar to Fire Emblem if you've ever played that, but haven't gotten into this one either. Next up here we have E.T. the Extraterrestrial. I have not gotten this. It was very cheap, so that's why I have it. Next up is Fire Emblem: The Sacred Stones. I got this one for pretty cheap at like a local pawn store, and I know it's kind of like a pricier game, so picked it up. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I've heard it's a great game. I think it's the second Fire Emblem game that came out in the United States. Next up here, kind of mixed them up. It was in alphabetical order, but not anymore. Mega Man Battle Network 4 Red Sun. There's a ton of these Battle Network games, and I haven't gotten into them. I feel like if I did, like, start one, I'd like it, so I'm tempted, but I really would like to start with the first one, so I got that one for very cheap. Next up, got a handful. F-Zero Maximum Velocity. This game's pretty cool. It uses, like, the graphics on it are really cool for, like, Game Boy Advance, so if you like F-Zero, I'd definitely check that out. And then there's also F-Zero GP Legends, which this was actually based off, I think, like, the TV show that was on for a while, which I didn't even know there was a F-Zero show. I knew there was a Kirby one, so yeah, it even says on the back here it was on, like, Fox, so I don't know much about that one. I haven't played it. So Golden Sun: The Lost Age. Heard the Golden Sun games are great. This is the second one. I'd like to check out the first one before get into that. GT Advance 3 Concept Racing. I have another game kind of like this on Game Boy, but the graphics on these, like, racing games are surprisingly, like, really good. Like, they use, like, 3D models kind of, and it's just really cool to check out if you, like, they're really cheap too, so. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I have Harry Potter, Chamber of Secrets, and Sorcerer's Stone on Game Boy Color, and they're like RPG games, and I beat the first one, and it was really fun. So they actually released the first other two Harry Potter games on Game Boy Advance, but they're not RPGs, so I'm not really interested in them. They just look kind of like not fun. So, but this one is actually an RPG too, so might get into that one soon. Next up here is Iridion 3D, another game that just really showcases, like, the cool stuff that Game Boy Advance can do. It's just really good, like, graphics. It's, like, kind of 3D, but that one's also very cheap if you want to check that one out. Jimmy Neutron versus Jimmy Negatron, a weird, like, isometric platforming game. It's really not that great. I've had it since I was really young, though, so I haven't gotten rid of that. Kelly Slater's Pro Surfer. I actually only got this because it's a label variant of Tony Hawk Underground 2. It just comes with this game, but I figured I'd print this out because there wasn't an actual case for, like, the combo pack, but I don't know much about this, so I've never touched it. This one's really good. Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. It uses, like, cards, and it's really interesting. Like, if you've ever played Kingdom Hearts, like, any of the other ones, don't expect it to be like this one, because it's just very different. It's kind of hard to explain, but check out some, like, gameplay or something of it. Kirby the Amazing Mew. By far, this is my favorite Kirby game, probably mostly because of nostalgia, but just love this game. Definitely check it out. It's like kind of like a Metroidvania or whatever, like open type game, and you can do whatever you want. And here we have Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland. This is a remake of the original Kirby game on NES, Kirby's Adventure. So it just basically has the graphics from the Amazing Mirror. So it's still good though. Check it out. Konami Crazy Racers. It's like a kind of like a Mario Kart type game with all the Konami different franchises. It's alright. I've only played it a couple times. Mario Pinball Land. It's a very, like, bland pinball game. Like, I don't know anyone that really remembers this game, so probably tells you something about it. It's not very good. Mario Kart Super Circuit. This is actually a really good Mario Kart game. I enjoy this one a ton compared to, like, I don't know. The Super Nintendo game is just kind of different, and I think this one's a lot better than the Super Nintendo game. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. I haven't gotten into this series, but this game looks to be on, like, my list of games to play. Like, I have so many that I, need to play, but this one is definitely one of the ones I want to get into soon. Same thing, Metroid Fusion, like another game. I've only played it a handful of times, but each time I play it, I don't get very far. So I heard that's one of the best Metroid games, like hands up or up there with like Super Metroid and stuff. So here we have Naruto Ninja Council 2. It's basically more of the first game. I think you can play it with like some different people. Yeah, you can play as Sasuke and Sakura. I think you can play Sasuke in the first one, if I remember. Next up here, we'll grab these. Got some Pokemons. Not this one. This is Pac-Man Pinball Land, which I mean it's alright. It's kind of like that Mario game, but the Mario Pinball game, but it's not anything to write home about. Next up here, Pokemon Leaf Green, remake of the original. Here's also Fire Red. We have both of them, and these are just remakes of the original Red and Green in Japan Blue here Pokemon games. When I was younger, I played Leaf Green more, but from what I hear, like Leaf Green has better Pokemon, but more people got like this one because Charizard was on the cover. But I'm pretty indifferent. I actually choose Blastoise. So, and then here we have Pokemon Ruby version. This was my first Pokemon game, so it means a lot to me. Unfortunately, this isn't like my original copy, but so many great memories playing this one, and always have a place in my heart. Here we have some more, not Pokemon, but just more games. So first up here is Sonic Advance, and then also Sonic Pinball Party, another pinball game. There's a lot of pinball games featuring like mascots on this system, but I've never played Pinball Party. But Sonic Advance, the Sonic Advance series on the Game Boy Advance is such a great like series. I mean, the screen could be like a little bigger to show more space, but that's the only complaint, like the major complaint I have. It's really fun. I also have Sonic Advance 2, which is most people's favorites, but my favorite is Sonic Advance 3. This is actually the first one I played, and it's just nostalgia again. Is probably the reason it's my favorite. Next up here, we have some Mario games. We got Super Mario Advance, which this is a remake of Super Mario Bros. 2, and also has like the original Mario Bros. Arcade game. But yeah, this one is like really fun. Like, this is my experience with like the original Super Mario 2, so that's just how I always played it. Same thing with this one, Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario Advance 4. This is how I experienced Mario 3, and I think it's a really good remake. And then also Super Mario World, which isn't really a remake, it's more of a port compared to the other two, which I know the other two are kind of ports because they were on like Super Mario All-Stars on Super Nintendo or whatever, but they're a little different. So next up here we have Wario Land 4, which I believe was a launch title for the Game Boy Advance, and that's really fun. Like, I've always really enjoyed the Wario Land games. Like, I had a couple of them on Game Boy, and like one on Game Boy Color, I think. So I always really liked them, though. Definitely check that one out. WarioWare Inc. Mega Micro games. Actually, I haven't played this one yet, but I've played the other WarioWare games, and they're just so fun. They're like just short little mini games that you can pick up and play. Yu-Gi-Oh! Worldwide Edition Stairway to the Destined Duelist. This is probably the longest title of a game I have, but this game is great. Like, this was how I learned to play the Yu-Gi-Oh! Game and stuff, and this is just probably my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Game I've played just because it was my first, and like, the other ones that I've played on Game Boy Advance kind of like are RPGs and you walk around. This one's just kind of straightforward, you play the card game, which I really like that. Here we have Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Actually, I've never played. I've played it, but I've never beaten Link to the Past. I remember I always used to play this one, but I didn't really know what to do. I don't know. I guess I was just a dumb kid, but definitely will have to get to that one day. Next here is Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. This is like a 2D platforming game, and it's really cool actually. Kind of harkens back to the original Prince of Persia game, which is also a 2D game. Spider-Man. It's just kind of a 2D beat 'em up game. It's pretty average, but I like it because Spider-Man is my favorite hero. Star Wars Episode 3: Revenge of the Sith. I have this one, or I had this one on the Nintendo DS, and it's basically the same thing. It's like 2D side-scrolling beat 'em up, but with Star Wars, and I mean it's really good. It's like probably one of my favorite like beat 'em up games that I've played. Like I haven't played a ton of them, but I really like that one. And then we have Star Wars Trilogy: Apprentice of the Force, another like 2D side-scroller with like plays through the original trilogy, and it's pretty fun. Star Wars Flight of the Falcon. This game gets a lot of hate and stuff, but I think it's alright. Definitely not my favorite Star Wars game though. And got Tekken Advance here. This one's kind of cool. It's kind of 3D-esque, and it's not like as deep as the console games and stuff, obviously, but it's pretty cool. Next up is V-Rally 3. Here's that other game I was talking about that has just really good like 3D graphics for a Game Boy Advance game. So if you're interested in seeing what the Game Boy Advance can do, check that one out. And here we have Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Fantastic game on the Game Boy Advance. Like arguably just as good, maybe not just as good, but up there with how good the original is on PS1. And then we have Pro Skater 3. This one's actually my favorite on Game Boy Advance. Like my favorite Tony Hawk game. It's the first one I got to, so really good. Pro Skater 4, haven't gotten too much into this one. And the same thing with these two, Underground 1 and 2. I used to play this one kind of a lot whenever I was younger, but I don't remember much about it. Then Tony Hawk's American Skateland. This one's really cool too. It's kind of an interpretation of American Wasteland on like the PS2 and everything else, but portable. And I also have this one on DS, and on DS it's actually really cool. It, like transfers well over to that system, but this one's pretty cool too. And I still need Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam. That's the last Game Boy Advance Tony Hawk game I need. But yeah, so I believe that's it. Like I do have some like a small handful of Game Boy Color games and Game Boy original games, but I'll probably save those. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely subscribe if you like this, and like the video, leave a comment or whatever if you want me to talk about a game. So yeah, see you guys later.